Okay, so now it is recording. So a panel of fog rolls back rapidly, revealing rapidly in the jury box the faces of Martin Cunningham, Foreman, Silk-Hatted, Jack Power, Simon Dedalus, Tom Kernan, Ned Lambert, John Henry Menton, Miles Crawford, Lenehan, Paddy Leonard, Nosy Flynn, McCoy, and the featureless face of a nameless one. So at court, all his friends, all the friends who went to the burial, are present. But look, there is somebody with a face that doesn't have a face, a featureless face, a blank face, and the name is a nameless one. This could be the dead one, Paddy, who is dead, or the man who appears at the bar. You remember the one who ran after Bloom, who wanted to kill Bloom, because we never got the name of that man. That man didn't have a name, so any of them could be. And this nameless says, bareback riding, wait for age, Gob, he organized her. So probably not talking about sex, bareback riding, yes, riding on your back, and wait for age, because Bloom apparently is rather old, although he is 38, but for the time, Gob, he organized her. And the jurors, all their heads turned to his voice. Really? Ours over tip, 100 shillings to 5. You remember that they are talking about the prostitute, no?
Yes.
And this is what he paid, 100 shillings to 5. The jurors, all their heads lowered in assent. Most of us thought as much, because they are having this trial is against Bloom, because Bloom is accused of being there, you remember, and of having raped the lady who worked at his house, no? So he is a marked man. Another girl's played cut. Wanted. Jack the Ripper. £1,000 reward. So now he's being, let's say, confused with Jack the Ripper. You know the story of Jack the Ripper.
Jack el Destripador, yes.
El Destripador. See,
yes.
Jack the Ripper. A famous character in London. Yes, so. And sorry, because I cannot read here. I lost a line.
That man, Jack the Ripper, really existed.
Really existed, yes, of course. Yes, he existed, yes.
He killed prostitutes.
He killed prostitutes.
But suddenly he disappeared.
Yes, he was never caught, and
no,
nobody knows who he was. That's why there are so many stories.
There are a lot of legends about him.
There are many legends, yes, because
from
of
the nobility or
yes, different ones, yes. Even what's this character in the novel? The one who transformed Dr. Jekyll, even Dr. Jekyll. There is another story confusing, claro. So, old whispers, and in black, a Mormon, anarchist. So see all the possibilities against Bloom, that he is a Mormon, an anarchist. And another character, the crier, says loudly, whereas Leopold Bloom, of no fixed abode, see, sin dirección, porque this is the trial, no? Leopold Bloom, of no fixed abode, is a well-known dynamitard, forger, bigamist, bawd and cuckold, and a public nuisance to the citizens of Dublin. And whereas at this commission of assizes, the most honorable... So, see all the charges against Bloom. A dynamitard, ¿no? O sea, uno que dinamita. Forger, you know, forger. Estafador, sí, el que hace, el que imita documentos, etc. Falsificador. Bigamist. Bawd is somebody who prostitutes people. And cuckold, so this is another.
What's cuckold?
Cornudo. O sea, Todo mezclado. And a public nuisance, una molestia pública to the citizens of Dublin. And whereas this commission of assizes, the most honorable, and so his honor, Sir Frederick Falkiner, recorder of Dublin, this was the name of a real judge, in judicial garb of grey stone, rises from the bench, stone-bearded. He bears in his arms an umbrella scepter. From his forehead arise starkly the mosaic ramshorns. So the judge has a stake, a scepter, see, with the form of an umbrella, and from his forehead, no, the mosaic ramhorn, como cuernos de la cabeza. And the
it's like Alice in Wonderland, no?
Sí, yes. All the characters
here,
completely ridiculous.
Craziness.
The recorder says, I will put an end to this white slave traffic and rid Dublin of this odious pest. The white slave traffic is...
slave traffic.
Claro, this could be prostitution of white women.
Yes.
No? Scandalous.
Proxenetism.
Exactly. Scandalous, he says. He dons the black cap. Let him be taken, Mr. Sub-Sheriff, from the dock where he now stands and detained in custody in Mountjoy prison during His Majesty's pleasure, and there be hanged by the neck until he's dead, and therein fail not at your peril, or may the Lord have mercy on your soul. Remove him. So you see, they are condemning Bloom to die by hanging.
Yes, die by hanging.
O sea que lo van a ahorcar. This, the funny thing is that this is his dream, and in his dream, he believes that everybody is against him and that he has committed a lot of crimes, no?
Yes.
So,
yes. May I say something?
Yes, of course.
Be hanged was thought in the modern times in the 16th century to be for common people, and to be shot for high-level, high-class people.
Ah, very good. I didn't know that.
Yes. High level was
shot.
Shot.
Because it was less painful or less humiliating or...
Okay, so the ones that were hanged were poor people,
common people.
Yes.
So, a black skull cap descends upon his head. The skull cap es la bolsa que les ponen en la cabeza cuando los ahorcan, ¿sí? The sub-sheriff Long John Fanning appears, smoking a pungent Henry Clay. I don't know if you remember that this sub-sheriff Long John Fanning appeared before.
Yes.
Because he told stories about people he hanged. You remember that he had some stories about people who he had taken part in the hanging, ¿no? Porque él era el que los ahorcaba, digamos. Entonces, el verdugo. And so this character appeared before. Everything that appears in this chapter is a kind of, has a connection with something that happened before. So Bloom in his dream is mixing up everything. So Long John Fanning scowls and calls with rich rolling utterance, who'll hang Judas Iscariot? So now Bloom is Judas Iscariot. H. Rumbold, master barber, in a blood-colored jerkin and tanner's apron, a rope coiled over his shoulder, mounts the block. A life preserver and a nail-studded bludgeon are stacking his belt. He rubs grimly his grappling hands, knobbed with knuckle dusters. Knuckle dusters son esas armas que se ponen en las manos de metal para cuando pegan y que lastiman.
Para pegar y lastimar.
Sí, esos son knuckle dusters. And Rumbold says, to the recorder with sinister familiarity, hanging Harry, your majesty, the Mersey terror. 5 guineas a jugular, neck or nothing. So I sent you the information about the Mersey terror, and look how much he collected for killing somebody. 5 guineas. 5 guineas a jugular. Neck or nothing. The bells of George's church toll slowly, loud, dark iron. Remember that the George's church is the church where Bloom has been before, near the river. Yes, that is George's church. And the bells toll because this is the sound when somebody died. Yes?
For whom the bells toll.
Exactly, the famous poem. Yes. Hi-oh, hi-oh, the bells, no? The bells, but these bells seem to be happy, no? Hi-oh, hi-oh. Instead of being sad, the bells seem to be happy. Now, Bloom says desperately, wait, stop, gulls, good heart, I saw, innocence, girl in the monkey house, zoo, lewd chimpanzee, breathlessly, pelvic basin, her artless blush unmanned me, and overcome with emotion, not crying, I left the presence. He turns to a figure in the crowd appealing, Heinz, may I speak to you? You know me, that 3 shillings you can keep, if you want a little more. So, when he is about to be hanged, he asks them to stop. He says that he can see the gulls, yes, and that means a good heart, that he is good. And he's innocent. A girl in the monkey house, a zoo, lewd chimpanzee. This is the idea of the monkey sitting, yes, like a woman, yes, in the cage, yes. Pelvic basin. This is the way in which monkeys pee or shit, ¿no? Como agachados así, cuando... her artless blush unmanned me. So what he's saying is that it was not his fault, but the fault of the woman who unmanned him. He said, I left the precincts, and he asked Heinz. You remember Heinz? Heinz is a good fellow, the one who collected the money for Dignam's wife. And I don't know if you remember that Bloom knew that he had given 3 shillings to Heinz, and that Heinz never gave him the money back. And he doesn't want to tell him, yes, you owe me money. And so now, when he's about to be hanged, he says, that 3 shillings you can keep. No, if you want a little more. But Heinz says, you are a perfect stranger. And the second watch, the policeman, points to the corner. The bomb is here. Infernal machine with a time fuse. No, pig's feet. I was at a funeral. So, Bloom's defense is that he was not there to put the bomb, that the bomb, and now we are connecting this with a famous historical case when a bomb was placed. You remember we talked about this in Dublin with the intention of killing the British representative. Yes? And of course, it wasn't Bloom, and this happened a long time ago. But this idea, he said, no, I didn't put the bomb there. I was at the funeral. So the policeman draws his truncheon, ¿sí? Draw es sacar, como sacar la espada. En este caso lo que saca es el palo que tienen los policías. And he says, liar. The beagle lifts his snout, showing the grey scorbutic face of Paddy Dignam. He has knocked all. So here the dead body appears with a grey scorbutic face full of holes. No? He exhales a putrid carcass-face breath. Of course, because he's putrid, he's dead. He grows to human size and shape. His Dutch sound coat becomes a brown mortuary habit. His green eye flashes bloodshot. Half of one ear, all the nose and both thumbs are ghoul-eaten. So the body, the corpse, ¿no? Es un cadáver ya. Tiene pedazos mordidos ya. Le faltan. And Paddy Dignam says in a hollow voice, it is true. It was my funeral. Dr. Finn O'Kane pronounced life extinct when I succumbed to the disease from natural causes. So the one who appears, the witness, that defends Bloom is the dead man, Paddy. He lifts his mutilated ashen face moonwards and bays lugubriously. You hear, so now Bloom says to the audience, to the jury, you hear, yes, the dead man comes. And Paddy says, Bloom, I am Paddy Digman's spirit. List, list, oh, list. Who said this?
In Hamlet, Shakespeare.
Hamlet, yes.
It's Hamlet, yes.
This is the ghost of his father. You remember when he called Hamlet and he says, list, list, oh, list. So we have Hamlet again here. And Bloom says, the voice is the voice of Eso. How is that possible? In the second watch, he blesses himself, se hace la señal de la cruz, and he says, how is that possible? It is not in the penny catechism. So, the situation that Jesus appears to say, because Bloom says that the one who said, list, list, oh, list, is Jesus, no, the voice of Eso. And so the policeman says, this is not in the penny catechism. The penny catechism was the small catechism that they used when they studied, when they were children. See?
Yes.
By metempsychosis, spooks. So how is it that the ghost is there by metempsychosis? No, he appears in a new body. And a voice says, oh, rocks. So the voice could be you remember that when we read the chapter of the bar, this man that we don't know the name is called a voice.
A voice.
So, Paddy again.
Sorry? I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, tell me.
Bloom thinks that the ghost is Jesus.
Yes.
I didn't get.
Yes. Jesus,
himself.
Yes. Claro, pero not in the body of Jesus, in the body of Paddy.
Yes.
By metempsychosis. So this is
Jesus talk by using the corpse
of Paddy Digman, claro. Pero the funny thing is that the explanation is metempsychosis. No?
Yes.
This transformation, this...
yes, it used
to live again in another body, this idea. So,
crazy,
completely crazy, completely. So, Paddy Digman says, once I was in the employ of Mr. J.H. Menton, solicitor, commissioner for oaths and affidavits, of 27 Bachelor's Walk. Now I am defunct. The wall of the heart hypertrophied. So this is why he's defunct. He's dead. Because the wall of the heart is hypertrophied. ¿No? El corazón muy grande. Hard lines. The poor wife was awfully cut up. How is she cut up? She was very upset. How is she bearing it? Keep her off that bottle of sherry. So the dead man from death is telling them what to do with his wife, no? Que le saquen la botella de sherry. He looks round him. A lamp. I must satisfy an animal need. That buttermilk didn't agree with me, sorry. So the problem is that he ate buttermilk. Buttermilk was heavy, greasy things, right? And of course, that is the cause of his death, he says.
What's buttermilk, sorry?
Buttermilk es como grasa. Es una mezcla que hacían de una manteca muy pesada.
Okay.
Que, por supuesto, le hizo mal, según él, y lo mató eso. The portly figure of John O'Connell, caretaker, stands forth. No, now John O'Connell, the caretaker, the one at the cemetery, holding a bunch of keys tied with crape. Beside him stands Father Coffey, a chaplain, toad-bellied, wry-necked, in a surplice and bandana nightcap, holding sleepily a staff of twisted poppies. So, now they are at the cemetery again, no? John O'Connell is the caretaker, right? But the one who is beside him is Father Coffey. But the Father Coffey, who has come to the burial, is in his pajamas with a bandana nightcap, con el gorro de dormir, ¿vieron? And holding in sleepily, because he was sleeping, a staff of twisted poppies. Poppies, las amapolas, son las, implican olvido, ¿sí? Quieren decir olvido. So Father Coffee yawns, so he's very, very sleepy, then chants with a hoarse croak, Namin, Jacobs, Bobiskus, Amen. So he's there to pray for the dead man. John O'Connell, foghorn stormily through his megaphone. Dignam Patrick T. deceased. So it's very funny, no? The caretaker naming the people who have to be buried. Pasa el siguiente, sí, parece que dijera. John O'Connell, Paddy Dignan, with pricked up ears, winces. Overtones. He wriggles forward and places an ear to the ground. ¿No? So, se saca la oreja. Well, es horrible. My master's voice. John O'Connell. Burial docket letter UP 85,000. Field 17. House of Keys, plot 101. So, this is the place. A plot es el lugar donde lo entierran, ¿no? El que le toca. Plot 101. And Paddy Dignan listens with visible effort, thinking, his tail stiff pointed, his ears cocked. He says, pray for the repose of his soul. He warms down through a coal hole, his brown habit trailing its tether over rattling pebbles. After him toddles an obese grandfather rat. You remember the rat that Bloom saw when they left the cemetery, that he saw a rat there? Well, and here we have the rat. An obese grandfather rat on fungus turtle paws under a grey carapace. Dignan's voice, muffled, is heard baying underground. Dignan's dead and gone below. Tom Rochford, robin red-breasted, in cap and breeches, jumps from his two-columned machine. Tom Rochford, a hand to his breastbone, bows. Reuben, J.A., a florin, I find him. He fixes the manhole with a resolute stare. My turn now on. Follow me up to Carlo. So now everybody is going to follow Tom Rochford, because now apparently the witness that Bloom presented demonstrated that Bloom is innocent. So he executes a daredevil salmon leap in the air, see? El salmon leap es ese salto dando la vuelta en el aire, ¿sí? Como hacen los pescados, ¿sí? And is engulfed in the coal hole. 2 discs of the columns wobble. Eyes of knot. All recedes, ¿sí? All recedes. So all the dream disappears. All the jury, all the people there. Bloom plunges forward again through the sump. Kisses chirp amid the rifts of fog. There are birds, no, chirping. A piano sounds. He stands before a lighted house, listening. The kisses winging from their bowers fly about him, twittering, warbling, cooing. So the picture changes completely. Now Bloom is not there anymore in front of the jury, but there is a kind of romantic place full of birds, a piano, yes. And the kisses appear. The kisses are the birds, no? And they say, Leo. Now they name him Leo, no Bloom. Leo, twittering. Icky, licky, mickey, sticky for Leo. Cooing. Coo, coo, coo. Yum, 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 wom, wom. Big, come big. Pirouette. Leo, popold. Leo, Lee, oh, Leo. They rustle, flutter upon his garments, a light, bright, giddy flex, silvery sequins. So you see now he is surrounded by birds. It's a very different situation. And Bloom says, a man's touch, sad music, church music, perhaps here. And the one who appears now is Zoe. Zoe is the prostitute. You remember the one that Stephen is looking for. Yes? Zoe Higgins. a young whore in a sapphire slip, clothed with 3 bronze buckles, a slim black velvet fillet round her throat, nods, trips down the steps, and accosts him. Are you looking for someone? He's inside with his friend. So who is inside, according to Zoe? Stephen. This is the one Bloom is looking for, no? And the prostitute tells him that Stephen is inside. Bloom says, is this Mrs. Max? Mrs. Max was a very famous madame at that time, no? No, 81, Mrs. Cowens. You might go further and fare worse. Mother Slipper Slapper. Slipper Slapper because she wore slippers, ¿sí? Las pantuflas. Familiarly, she's on the job herself tonight with the vet, her tipster, that gives her all the winners and pays for her son in Oxford. There is, at the time, in Joyce's time, there was a kind of idea, legend, myth, whatever you want to call it, that the students who were in Oxford were paid by the prostitutes in Dublin. That the prostitutes paid their sons, the university in Oxford, by being prostitutes. You understand? So that's why here, this was the idea, and that's why the Zoe says that the madame is inside with the vet, no, with the man, the veteran, her tipster, el que le daba propinas grandes, that gives her all the winners and pays for her son in Oxford, right? Working overtime, but her luck's turned today. Suspiciously, you are not his father, are you? Not I. You both in black. Has little mousy any tickles tonight? And so his keen alert feels her fingertips approach. A hand glides over his left thigh. So what is she doing? She's touching his penis. La prostituta, sí, se le acerca y lo toca. How's the nuts? You understand nuts? The testicles. Instead of testicles, she calls him those nuts. ¿Cómo están las nueces, sí? And Bloom says, offside. Curiously, they are on the right. So apparently he always have them on the left, but today they are on the right. Heavier, I suppose. 1 in a million, my tailor, Messiah says. So this is a funny situation, no, in connection with his testicles. And so says, in sudden alarm, you've a hard chancro. Why? Because when she touches him, she finds the potato. You remember the potato?
Yeah, the lucky one.
The lucky potato he has in his pocket. And so the woman thinks that he has a syphilis and that this was un chancro. Not likely, says Bloom. I feel it, no? And so she starts touching it. Her hand slides into his left trouser pocket and brings out a hard black shriveled potato. She regards it and Bloom with damp moist lips. A talisman, heirloom. So we know that the potato for Bloom was a talisman, no, to protect him. And this is the connection with Circe in the Odyssey, because you remember that Circe gives Ulysses a talisman. The talisman in this case is called Molly. You remember the thing that's Molly. Yeah. So now we have he has found his talisman, the potato, and so says for Sue. So the talisman is for Sue, for keeps, for being so nice. So she wants to keep the potato. She puts the potato greedily into a pocket, then links his arm, cuddling him with supple warmth. He smiles uneasily. Slowly, note by note, Oriental music is played. He gazes in the tonic crystal of her eyes, ringed with cohol. You know cohol, con lo que se pintan, el cohol, con lo que se pintan de negro los ojos, ¿sí? His smile softens. You'll know me the next time. And Bloom forlornly, see, with melancholy. I never loved